Hello, welcome back. In this module, we're going to explore a fascinating concept that helps us understand ourselves better and also improve our relationships with others. It's a powerful and insightful tool that has really helped me in both my life and also my career. It's called the Johari Window. Now, don't let the name throw you off. It might sound like a complicated theory. That was definitely my first impression, but I promise you it's both simple and incredibly valuable. Whether you're working in a team, managing relationships, or striving for your own personal development, the Johari window can give you a framework for understanding not just how you see yourself, but more importantly, how others perceive you as well. A 360 approach is another way to think of it. And once you get a handle on it, it can make a real difference in the way that you connect with people and also give you a framework so that you can continually develop. So why do we need the Johari window? Surely I could just ask other people for feedback. Well, that's true. However, the Johari window is more than just that. It's all about self-awareness and also building trust. Think about it. How often have you worked with someone and felt there was something that you didn't quite understand about them? Or perhaps someone has previously made an assumption about you that you didn't feel was quite right. It's happened to most of us. Now, often these misunderstandings arise because we don't fully share what we know about ourselves. Often we just assume that others think along the same lines that we do. But others don't always communicate their perspectives clearly or their thoughts on us. This is where the Johari window helps us to clear up these gaps in communication. And by using this tool, you can identify areas where you're not fully aware of your own behaviors, but also areas where you might not be fully sharing yourself with others. It's a way to map out the space between what you know and what others know, and also in the process, open up new possibilities for personal growth and to build stronger relationships with those around you. So I'm going to begin by listing a few of the key benefits of using the Johari window. So first, as I mentioned, increased self-awareness. By using these tools, you're going to be able to recognize the areas where we have blind spots or things we're hiding from others. We can gain greater self-awareness and become more conscious of our actions and behaviors. Secondly, we can better communicate with others. When we reduce those hidden and blind areas, we open up clearer lines of communication. This then leads to more effective team collaboration and builds stronger personal relationships. Third, those improved relationships. So as we share more and open ourselves more to feedback, we build increasing levels of trust with others. And then in turn, when others feel comfortable giving feedback to us, it also strengthens the bond between you, your colleagues, your friends, your team, and even your family. Most importantly, though, and this is the key, it helps us to plan personal growth. By exploring the unknown areas, it allows us to uncover the strengths and the areas that we can develop. This then in turn helps us become more resilient, adaptable, and capable in both personal and professional settings. So let's dive deep into the four components of the Johari window and explore exactly how it works in more detail. So what is the Johari window? Well, it's a 2x2 grid that maps out four different areas of self-awareness. These four areas represent different aspects of who we are, both the parts we're aware of and also the parts that are hidden from ourselves or others. So I'm going to begin by going through each of them. We'll start with the open area, which I like to refer to as the arena. Now, this is the space where we overlap with others. It represents the things that we are both aware of ourselves and also the others, those around us, are aware of too. This could, for example, be the skills that you openly share at work, like your ability to manage projects or your knack for being a great team player. It could also be the things about your personality that you freely share, such as your love for sports or music. In essence, this is your public self. Now, the larger your open area or arena, the more transparency there is in your interactions. It's the space where trust and collaboration thrive. So really, we want this open area to be as large as possible. If you think about all of these four quadrants, and for example, they can move, they can get bigger, both to the right or the left, and also upwards and downwards. And you want to try and expand this open area as much as you possibly can. So back to the open area itself. The more you share openly with others, the easier it becomes to understand each other and work together effectively. For example, at work, the more you let your team know about your approach to solving problems, the better they can collaborate with you and vice versa. So here's a real life example. Now, you've probably had colleagues who are known for expertise in a particular area, whether it be marketing, sales, or even just being a good listener. These are the skills and qualities in their open area that everyone knows about them and also that they know about themselves. The more open we are, the more we are able to invite others to connect with us. It may not even be a skill per se. They may not have studied or practiced something. It could just be something that is a characteristic of their personality. Now, often people will only put down the good things about themselves. For example, one of their traits might be, I'm great at putting people at ease very quickly. And this could be one of your traits. This could go into your open quadrant. But the way I like to use it also is to put the potentially negative aspects in the open quadrant too, so that you can work on them. For example, if the person being analyzed, and it could be you, whoever's being analyzed using this tool at any particular time, maybe they are openly overly sensitive to criticism. They know they are, and everyone they interact with knows that they are as well. So put it in there, put it into the open. Anything that you know and others know as well, put it into the open quadrant. It might be good, it might be bad. If it's good, great, you can work on it and develop it. If it's negative, then it's something that you might need to look into in more detail. In essence, this tool is best used to build a holistic picture of truth to then work on piece by piece. Therefore, whatever, be it good or bad, it is best at this point to ensure everything goes into the window. If you only focus on the good points, it's not going to be holistic. So put everything in there that you know and they know is true, or that they perceive to be true. This goes for all of the other quadrant windows too. As with some of the other tools, feel free to adapt things, delete things, minimize things later, but I like to have them all down so that we can work on them. Okay, so let's talk about the next quadrant that you can see, the blind area or the blind spot. Now here's where things get interesting. The blind area contains the aspects of ourselves that others see, but that we are unaware of. These are the things other people notice about us, but we don't recognize ourselves. Or sometimes we try not to recognize them ourselves. This is why it's great to actually request the information and put it here, so we cannot avoid or dodge it. We have to address it. Now, often it's feedback from colleagues, friends, or family that can help us uncover these blind spots, people that we trust. It could be something as simple as the fact that you tend to interrupt others during meetings without realizing it. Or perhaps you unknowingly bring a lot of energy to group discussions. So there, for example, we have a negative and then a positive. Again, put them both down. A further step as well is to find out if people find this particular trait inspiring or overwhelming. Some people, it's a very subjective thing. Some people might take it differently, and often people do. Again, it's gathering the information. And the more that you do this, the more that you practice this, you'll see how other people react to it. And that's where it really helps to build bonds. So why does any of this matter? Well, because we can't change what we don't know. Feedback and self-reflection are the key to shrinking that blind area. So as I mentioned earlier, you want to increase the open area and decrease the blind area over time. By asking others for honest input, we can uncover the blind spots that might be hindering our growth or our relationships with others. Let me give you a real life example. So let's say you've been leading a team and someone tells you, "You don't always listen to our ideas, boss," or "You seem to make decisions too quickly." You might not have noticed that you're cutting people off or rushing decisions. But now that you know, you can take steps to improve your listening skills and allow others to contribute more. This feedback would, of course, go in this window. And for this window, it is something that you continually add to whenever you receive feedback. You may need to create a new Johari Window tool for yourself over time, and I would encourage you to do so. And as your situation changes, definitely do. If you ever change, or if you ever get any feedback from others about a trait that you have displayed in any way, shape, or form, definitely add it to the window. This way, when you have time to review it, you will have all the information in one place. Okay, so the third is the hidden area, the facade. The hidden area is the part of ourselves that we are aware of, but that we don't share with others. It's the private side of us, the things we might not want to reveal for whatever reason, such as personal struggles, fears, or even just things we prefer to keep to ourselves. This could include worries about your career, a personal goal that you're striving towards, or an insecurity about your performance. Now, for example, if you are striving for something, you might even be learning something. It might be taking up your time. This is one aspect. Maybe people need to know about this so that they know what you're spending your time on if you are reducing your time spent on other things. Or if they knew that you had concerns or worries about certain things, it would enlighten them more to your situation that could in turn then help them to empathize better with your personal situation, be it in life or at work. Now, while it's natural to keep certain things private, this area can sometimes limit how we effectively communicate with others or connect with them. When we keep too much too hidden, others may not fully understand our perspectives, and we miss out on the potential for deeper connection. By choosing to share certain aspects of ourselves when appropriate, we allow others to understand us better. So a real life example, again, of work, you might be dealing with a heavy workload, but you haven't told anyone about the pressure you're feeling. As a result, your colleagues may not know why you're sometimes distant or less engaged. Now, if you open up about the challenges you're facing, they may offer support or help you to prioritize tasks. Again, this window can and will change over time. So ensure that if you reflect on what you put in this window, you act upon it if need be, and if you want to, and make others aware of aspects of your personality, situation, or progress that they may not be aware of and that you would like to make them aware of. Okay, so finally we have the unknown area, which represents things that neither we nor others are aware of. This is the most challenging, as you're not aware of it and others are also not aware. So it sounds confusing, I know, but these could be things like untapped talents or unconscious behaviors or even hidden desires that emerge when we encounter new experiences or situations. The unknown area is essentially the mystery part of us, and it's the fascinating part because we're always evolving, so it will change over time. As we go through life, try new things, face challenges, and step out of our comfort zones, we continue to uncover new facets of ourselves. This can be exciting because it means that there's always a potential for growth, but also it can be the most unnerving as well as enlightening, depending on what actually the situation is and how we emotionally adapt to it. Again, a real life example, you might never have considered yourself a natural leader until one day you're asked to take charge of a team. You're doing it, and then suddenly you discover leadership skills that were always within you, but were previously untapped. You didn't even know they were there until the opportunity arose. Now, when this happens, put them into the unknown so that when you have time to reflect on the complete window, you can either advance or reduce these aspects, dependent on how you wish to proceed with your development. These could also be things that you wish to address later. Regardless of when you wish to address them, put them in the window so at least you've made a note of it. And then when you write it down, you're making a subconscious note of it too. I often get asked, how can we use the Johari window in everyday life? So far I've just been talking about work life, but what about day to day? Now, the beauty of the Johari window is that it's not just a tool for work. It's something that can help in all areas of your life. So here's some tips on how you can start applying it. I'll begin with at work. Okay, so using the Johari window, of course, improves teamwork. You'll better understand yourself. And also, if you implement this with your team, it's going to help to improve your teamwork, your collaboration. If everyone in the team can share more about strengths, asking for feedback from colleagues to identify blind spots, then by reducing hidden areas and blind areas, you'll find that your team can collaborate more effectively and support each other better. In personal relationships, it's extremely beneficial too. In your personal life, be open about your thoughts and feelings, whether it's with family or close friends, opening up about your hidden areas, and this then will in turn lead to deeper connections. For example, if you're feeling stressed or need help, being able to share that with others can foster understanding and support. Now, of course, we don't live in a perfect world. Decide who you trust. It's obviously not a good idea to go and share information, personal information, especially emotional information, with people that you haven't fully built support and trust with. So just be a little bit mindful about that. Start with close friends, family, close colleagues at the beginning, and then you can gauge how much information to give those other colleagues and team members around you. It's also great for self-improvement. You can regularly reflect on the areas of your life where you might have blind spots or hidden areas or parts of yourself. And the more you engage in self-reflection, the more you can reduce those blind and hidden areas, making room for ever exponential personal growth. Do your best to embrace the Johari window as a major tool that you use on a continual basis for growth, empathy, and connection with others. Keep adding to it and updating it. The Johari window is extremely powerful and will help you to understand yourself better, to communicate more effectively with others, and build stronger, more authentic relationships. It's not just a one-time exercise, but a continuous process. By actively seeking feedback, sharing more about ourselves, and being open to new experiences, we can expand our open area and reduce our blind and hidden area. Now, remember that self-awareness is the key to growth. Be as honest about yourself as possible. When you're filling in this window, do the open part first, yourself, and also try and fill in the others yourself too. Put in as much information as you possibly can yourself first, even before you decide who you're going to ask about the other quadrants, to then give them a window template for them to fill in. When we're open to discovering new things about ourselves and others, we create a richer, more fulfilling experience in both our professional and personal lives, both for us and those around us, but also you're going to start to build very strong rapport, especially with the people that you ask to do this with you. And if you're a manager and you do this with your team, you will find that your team builds a stronger bond as a result too. So please review this module as many times as you need. Give it some deep thought and begin to complete it. Then when you have completed as much as you possibly can, then start reaching out to others also. I find it best to reciprocate. So for example, you ask a friend and then you and a friend or you and a colleague both analyze each other using the window. There's got to be trust there. You have to already have a good rapport or trust with whoever you ask. So that's the key. The person that you ask to do this with first should be someone that you really trust and you feel open and you can have a good conversation with, and even discuss both the positives and the negatives if and when they arise. If possible, and this is what I prefer to do and typically do, I prefer to ask a selection of people. For example, I'll choose 5 people and give them a blank window and ask them to complete it. I'll also ask them if they would like me to do the same for them. Often they'll be pleased to take on the challenge, and they'll also be excited about seeing their own window. It'll also give them a bit of a push to put down as much or more information than they know that you're putting down about them, because whilst they're doing your window, you'll be doing theirs, and people are competitive. They'll want to put down as much as possible, so it'll lead to an even better discussion. Now, one tip, and this is fairly essential in my opinion, whatever you do, don't give a pre-filled window template to anyone to then continue to complete. For example, if you fill in the open window and then a few bits and pieces in the other window, and then you say, "Hi, Dave, can you, add to this, please?" What they'll typically do is either just agree with what is already in there or disagree with it, or maybe they'll just copy it and rewrite it in some way. It's better to give everybody a clean template, and then when they have completed it, you collate all of the information from everyone and then add all of that information to one complete window template that you keep privately. If you choose, you can then show it to certain people depending on the levels of trust that you have with them, or you can find ways to enlighten them then with other things that you've discovered to get their feedback on it. It's entirely up to you. It will be different for different people. The people you trust more will usually be the ones that you can be more immediately honest with. And what you'll probably find is, for example, if you invite 5 people to fill in a window for you, and then person number 2 gives some feedback and you think, hang on, is that true? Maybe you could then ask person 1 what they think. You could say, well, I got this feedback. What do you think about this? See how it goes. Again, it really depends on you and your trust levels with the people that you ask. Anyway, so I hope that you're excited to explore the Johari window in your own life and also start unlocking your potential for greater communication, understanding, and connection. Please do print it off or make one of your own windows in your notebook. I think this type of thing would be better as a document, a Word document, so that you can add to it, so you can move it, so that you can change things around very easily, unless you're happy just continually making new windows in your notebook, which also works very well. For example, you do a window template now, and then maybe in a couple of months, you do another one and see what's changed and how you've progressed. Entirely up to you. So, good luck with it. Take it seriously, please, and do try and ask a selection of people, at least 3. I would advise against asking just one person, because if you do, it's very subjective. So 1 person isn't really enough. 3 is good. 5 is great if you can really trust those people, because then what you'll find is some people might actually have the same opinion. If they do, mark it in red, so that you know that this isn't just one person that said it, it's multiple people. Also, if you find anything in particular a challenge, if you're a little bit apprehensive about it, feel free to drop me a message. Perhaps I can give you some personalized tips and ideas for your situation. I'm always happy to give feedback, little tips and advice. So yeah, and I always get back to everybody. Any questions at all, please feel free to contact me. Apart from that, enjoy completing your Johari window, and I look forward to seeing you in the next module. Many thanks.